Hello everyone, and welcome to a wonderful and crazy game known as the Boston Immortal game. This game was a suggestion from a subscriber, and if you're from Boston, you should definitely know this game by heart. It's a very nice way for you to impress your family and friends, or just walk into a bar, draw up a chessboard, and impress everyone by showing them the Immortal Boston game. The game was played in 1892 between Franklin Knowles Young and a person called L Dore. I haven't found any information on this person nor a photo of him, and this is the only game ever played that is available in the database by Mr. L Dore. So I believe it's a casual game. It's not a tournament game or anything, but it's also a very interesting game. And before we check it out, we do have a photo challenge, and this will not be an easy photo challenge, as this photo challenge consists of 3 questions. So let's check it out. Question number 1, who is the world champion observing the game being played? For that you get only 1 point. For extra points you have to guess who the grandmaster behind the world champion also observing the game is, and for some extreme points, who are the players who are actually playing the game, the 2 gentlemen there. So best of luck to everyone, and for this video there are a couple of special photos as well. They were sent to me by a subscriber, Philip from Virje. He had a wedding day, and on his wedding day they managed to play a game of chess, him and his best man Martin. So here are a couple of photos. There are the 2 of them playing chess. We do have also a nice close-up of the board, a very nice board and a very nice position indeed. Here we also have another photo. Here also a nice close-up of the position. And as I'm sure a lot of you noticed, the cat here is a nice close-up of the cat as well. So there's the cat. So that being said, let's check out this game, the Boston Immortal game. So Franklin Knowles Young, he was known to be a very strong player, a chess author as well, and well, some sources say that he defeated players like Wilhelm Steinitz, Johannes Zukertort, and even Harry Nelson Pillsbury, but some sources not so much. Some say that the games were drawn. So I will add a link in the description below by Edward Winter to chesshistory.com, so you can check it out and read some more about Franklin Knowles Young. But this game is very interesting, and since we had so much modern game chess in my previous videos, it will be very nice to relax with a nice classic. So let's check it out. Franklin Knowles Young opens the game with e4. We have e5, d4, the center game. E captures on d4, and now c3, the Danish Gambit. D captures on c3, bishop to c4, offering another pawn, and now knight to f6. C captures on b2 is also playable here. Sometimes, most of the times, you don't want to grab too much material, especially like in the Evans Gambit, you don't want that third pawn. But here it's actually perfectly alright, as this runs into a very forced variation that will, more often than not, result in a draw. Here after knight to f6, here after this d5 has to be played, and then after bishop captures, knight f6, here white will temporarily win a queen. After queen captures on d8, and then after bishop to b4 check. Of course, you don't want to block this with the bishop or the knight, you have to block it back with the queen. Then black will have to give up his piece, or that bishop will be, the rook will grab the bishop on d8, and here it's a pretty drawn game. After rook e8, knight is coming to f3. A pretty forced drawish line. But if someone stronger than you plays this against you with the white pieces, don't be afraid to do it. But in this game, knight to f6 was played. We have knight to f3, and now knight captures on e4. So further grabbing material. And notice this is the second move Mr. L Dore made by this knight. For those of you who are maybe new to this channel, whenever I cannot find a photo or any information about a person, I will use a photo of the hoodie guy, and as usual, in honor of the hoodie guy, I am doing this video in a hoodie. Mr. Knowles Young castles, and knight to d6. So a third move with this knight, now seemingly coming with a tempo on the bishop. Here we have knight captures on c3, so a piece sacrifice already. But that's a piece, and this knight has to make its 4th move to actually grab this piece. So this is the 4th move by this knight. We have rook to e1 check, now comes bishop to e7, and now knight to d5. The threat, of course, being capturing the bishop on e7. We have knight to c6, Mr. L Dore defends the bishop, and now comes bishop to g5, simply yet again attacking the pinned piece. We have f6 blocking, and this is in fact the strongest move by L Dore. Now comes rook to c1, attacking this knight, and here we have b5, defending. This b5 is the first mistake Mr. L Dore makes. Better would be something like knight to b6, getting the knight away without actually wasting such a move, and also coming with an attack on this knight. And after rook captures here, knight captures, and after knight captures on c7 with check, simply king to f7, and after knight captures, and you can see that white doesn't have any compensation, as he does have he's a piece down, so not really going well for white here. So after rook to c1, black played b5. Now comes rook captures on c4. As both of these knights were defending d5 square, Mr. Noah's Young wants only this knight to be defending d5 square. We have b captures on c4, and now comes knight to e5. And this is a very interesting line. So what do you do here? Black is still completely fine, and in fact black is better here, but what do you play here? Well, you can play f captures on e5. This is actually perfectly fine, but this is what you would get. You would get knight captures on e7, knight captures on e7, and now rook captures on e5, and there's no real good way to defend the knight here. But you don't really care. You play rook f8, and now after rook captures, queen will simply capture, and after bishop captures, king captures, and black will have two rooks and the bishop against the queen. Black is winning here. On the other hand, even if you don't play f captures on e5, if you play king to f8, immediately getting out of the pin, again you will get knight captures on e7, knight captures, and now queen to f3, simply locking this, but you don't care, as queen captures on a8 is yet another threat. But here you have bishop to b7. This is the move you have to find if you want to go into this line with king to f8. Now after queen captures, d5, and again black is much better here. White doesn't really have compensation. So after knight to e5, we've seen you can play this, but what black played, that you cannot play. Black played f captures on g5. Now we have queen to h5 check, the only good move that really continues the attack for white. Here, of course, you can't go king to f8 because this runs into queen to f7 checkmate. So you do have to block the queen's check. g6. Now comes knight to f6. This again comes with check. Again, you can't play king to f8 because queen to h6 is now checkmate. So after knight to f6, bishop captures on f6 is played, and now comes knight captures on g6. This opens a discovered check from the rook. Now moving the king would be the best idea here, but regardless of what you play, the game is pretty much over for black. Here black decided to give back the material, and rook captures on e7 was played. And here the best move you can do is actually move the king to d8. But also you can capture with the knight. If you play knight captures, then you get this pretty much forced variation. Knight captures on h8 with check. We have knight to g6 blocking. Now knight captures on g6, h captures, and queen captures on g6, checking the king but also attacking the bishop. And the only way to prevent losing the bishop is king to e7, but then this runs into queen e4 check, and now you will lose the rook, and black does not have compensation for the queen. King moves, queen captures on a8, and now white is winning this game. But after this rook captures on e7, black played bishop captures on e7, and this now runs into a forced checkmate in 4. So feel free to pause the video here. I will give it a couple of seconds as usual for you to decide. It's a very nice idea, especially for those of you who are maybe new to chess, who haven't seen it yet. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations. You are an excellent attacker, and you've achieved quite a lovely smothered mate. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, here knight to e5. That's the idea, creating a discovered check from the queen. Of course, if king to f8, then queen to f7 is the immediate checkmate. And if king moves, then we have the very nice knight to f7 check. King moves, knight here checks. Again, king to f8 runs into queen to f7 checkmate. King has to move. And now, of course, the move you had to find in order to find this idea, queen to e8. This finishes the game. Rook captures, and the knight to f7, a nice smothered checkmate. So yeah, that's the game, the Boston Immortal game. I do hope you enjoyed it. It features a lot of lovely elements, even though Black's defense wasn't, the greatest at all times. It's a casual game, and it's from 1892, so a very nice classic. So yeah, that's the game. I do hope you enjoyed it. I sure did, as we covered so much, so many modern games that a nice classic is more than welcome. And I would like to thank Mark Gammy and Daniel Parker for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot, I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, hopefully with another interesting video. I will have to check some of your other suggestions as well. And if you're from Argentina by any chance, best of luck today in the World Cup. And yeah, I also wanted to say I received my Kindle today, so if any of you have any very interesting books that have increased your vast knowledge, feel free to suggest them in the comment section below. I do want to increase my vast knowledge as well. So yeah, once again, thank you all, and I will see you soon.